What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wars in the Stars, episode 2 of movie reviews. Today, Alex and I are going to talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the second movie in the Venom franchise. Um, First off, let me ask my good friend here, Alex. How's your day going so far, my man? I see you're snacking on something over there, so
I'm snacking on a huge bag of peanut M&Ms,
yes.
or peanut butter M&Ms, I should say. Um, it's been fine. I literally went to work and then went straight to the theaters. So, yeah, I also went to a different movie theater than normal, and it was
Okay.
an experience. Let's say that.
Go into it. Go in depth more. I want to hear about this theater experience.
So I typically go to a theater called Marcus Theater,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a pretty standard movie theater. But in this movie theater that I went to, I don't remember the exact name of it. The way that they were like advertising the movie theater was like really weird. There were a bunch of weird commercials that was just like, "Thank you for watching at Cinemark." I was just like, didn't need that kind of ad though. And I was like, whatever. So yeah, how's your day then?
My day's been really good. Worked out, did some errands, did some chores. I went to see the movie last night. Full house. Great theater. It's always weird because everyone talks about how their theaters scream and stuff. Like my theater was very intrigued, but like they didn't scream. They were intrigued, but they didn't scream.
I've never had a theater experience. Well, I wouldn't say that. My Force Awakens one was alive. I'll say that. But like, I've never had a theater screaming at the top of their lungs before in a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, and obviously we'll get to. By the way, spoilers for this, but we'll get to the after credit scene, and I think I can talk about it now, Alex. I'll say what I knew. I knew what characters were gonna be in it. I didn't know what the audio or anything like that was, and I'm surprised. I don't know if you were on YouTube the 2 days before, but it was already online.
No, I legit was on TikTok. I was on YouTube.
You
Didn't
got
get
lucky.
spoiled. Didn't get a single thing spoiled.
You got lucky because like I would see it and I'm like I scrolled away, but I I mean we'll get into that in a second because how excited. But
I think that's the first thing we need to talk about first and
okay,
foremost.
let's get right into it. So you go first. Go with your thoughts first.
Venom and Venom
I'll
Let
be
There Be
right back.
Carnage
Keep talking.
are MCU canon now. The post-credit scene and a short breakdown, Venom is about to explain to Eddie some of the things that the symbiotes on his planet have to went through and whatnot, and some of the things about them. And then a huge gold flash happens, and all of a sudden, Eddie and Venom are watching the report of Peter Parker's identity being revealed as Spider-Man, the exact one from Far From Home and No Way Home. So that
Right.
means Venom 1 and Venom 2 are now MCU canon.
Mm-hmm. Because of the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it is the same exact audio, but they add the picture of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which so there's a lot of things to break down with that because Venom says that guy and licks the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was bad guy, but it was that guy.
Yeah, it was
Licks the
that guy.
screen.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he say that?
Well, here's what I want to say, and I want to go into a little bit of a conversation about this because I said it just moments to you before that if Venom were to ever interact with a Spider-Man, Tom Hardy, Venom, I should say, it had to be Tom Holland. It couldn't have been Toby, and it could not have been Andrew. And I think for the big reason, and I think it's the scene from Spider-Man: Homecoming that as soon as I watched the first Venom a few weeks ago, and then after watching Let There Be Carnage, it all clicked in my head. Was like, oh my goodness! And another thing I'll go into after I talk about this is he's gonna be in No Way Home, almost definitely.
Maybe.
And I'll talk about where I think he'll be. So I'll get into that. I think you remember that scene when Peter is about to go, when he is talking to Karen for the first time, and she's talking to him about his web combinations and whatnot.
Right.
And
Right.
she talks about like, would you like to activate in enhanced mode? And she says, "Oh, activating instant kill." And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to kill I don't want to kill anybody." And then I think Venom works because he's the exact opposite. He willingly wants to kill everyone. He wants to eat everyone. But Eddie holds him back, like, no, 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 you can't do that. Yeah, I think that's one of the most interesting parallels. It came straight to my head when all this was going on. Like, wow, yeah, Peter Parker and Venom are literal opposites to each other. One wants to kill someone, one will like refuse to.
Right. So, my thoughts on it all. So, a lot of people said that Venom would fit with Garfield
I
just
don't
because
see
of
it.
the darker tone. And I got out of this theater and I'm like, people
No.
really think that Venom is a darker tone? That's
Literally, like they, I like how they say that, but they forget scenes like him at a literal party in this movie. Like he's at a party. Also, just the way he interacts, like with Eddie, he's humorous. He's funny.
right.
He
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's easily one of my favorite comedic MCU scenes. Now is when Eddie goes to shake Dan's hand and Venom fucking slapped him.
I think
Like,
my favorite I think my new favorite Venom scene is at the end of the movie when Cletus is like, I just wanted to be friends. And Venom's like, fuck this guy. And he just bites his head off.
right? Yeah.
He just bites his head off. Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
It's so good. But to back to the end credit scene. So what do I think it means? So I don't I think he'll be in No Way Home. Maybe.
I
And
think
the only
we
possibility I think it will be is in an after credit scene setting up. I think I could very easily see um, Tom coming face to face with Venom. But then again, my whole thing is like I can't see for a whole movie Venom and Spider-Man hating each other. I think they become teammates at the end. I think they
well,
team up or something.
the whole okay, so in the comics, Venom and Peter had to work together to take down Carnage.
Right.
But of course, in the Tom Hardy universe before the post-credit scene, different universes to the MCU. Of course,
Right.
because of the multiverse, it was technically MCU canon. But now at the very end, it's going to be canon. And I also want to say, like, while we're talking about this, um, these universes, the Raimi verse, the Garfield verse, all of these things, they're MCU canon forever.
Yeah.
When this whole multiverse story ends, these stories don't just disappear out of the canon. These
Right.
these events still happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important for people to know because there's been a lot of confusion about that. There's
Yeah, they're
also
part of the
yeah
they're not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're part of the multiverse.
yeah
They're
they're
not
well, I would even say that those movies are MCU canon because we're gonna
well
get
they
those heroes from those movies.
well they are canon, but I wouldn't say they're they're part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe necessarily. I would just say they're canon. I would just
I
say they're because of the multiverse. I
I
would
would
because
yeah
the MCU wasn't even a concept when Raimi was making his
right
movies.
yeah and I also like want people to remember technically we are going to get a canonized Spider-Man in 2012 with the Avengers movie as that version of the Amazing Spider-Man's Oscorp was going to be in New York, but Sony and Disney could not come to an agreement. Wait, no, not Disney. Who owned them at that time? Who owned Marvel?
Uh
Hold on. When did Disney buy?
no, I think they had it by the first Avengers, right?
It says that they had them in 2009, but that's not right because Paramount made a few
Paramount
movies.
Paramount had Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk. They had the first
Thor.
Thor,
Yeah.
and then they would have had to have Captain America.
Hold on. All Marvel movies made by Paramount. Mm-hmm. So they did Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America: The First Avenger. They
Okay,
didn't
so the Avengers movie was the first one then that.
made by Disney.
Okay,
Could you imagine starting off with that big of a bang
right.
and then having movies like this?
After Paramount did all the hard,
Yeah,
heavy lifted.
yeah,
Right.
and you know what? Also, I will say, um, I don't know if it was you during when I watched this. At the beginning, because technically, it's a very confusing deal that Sony and Marvel have with the Spider Verse. So basically, Sony has the film rights to Spider Man,
Right.
but Disney has the book rights to him. They can write him in any story. I don't know if it was you because I didn't get this when I watched Venom 1. They had a lot of like in your face in association with Marvel. I don't know if it felt very much like hey, just so you know, we're in association with them. Just keep that in mind.
Right.
You remember Marvel Studios? Keep that studio in mind towards the end.
Well, I wonder how much this movie was in limbo with that end credit scene because remember we had the whole fiasco with Marvel Studios and Sony. We didn't know if we were going to get Tom back because we're like we want him back.
Yeah.
And they ultimately came up to a deal. So there was obviously more to that deal than just Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel was like, "Oh, we want to bring in his villains too. We want to bring in Venom, Morbius,
Yeah.
Craven." And
Yeah.
Sony's probably like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, we never agreed to that." So they
Right.
probably went back and they had those
Well,
discussions.
I think we can easily tell that Sony and Disney are on working terms for now on. They're on
Right.
because again, we're gonna have all the Sony movies coming to. Oh yeah, it's a total money ploy for Sony. I mean, if you honestly think about it, Disney essentially owns Spider-Man now.
Having your character in the MCU, obviously having Venom, that's
Exactly.
that's that's big money for Sony. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but did you see how much money this movie is making?
No.
It's on pace to maybe even make more than Shang-Chi did opening weekend.
Holy crap. That's
This
crazy.
movie made more money than Shang-Chi did on that opening Thursday and made $37 million last night.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, let's. Oh, excuse me. I think it's also a very important thing to know that yeah, typically these movies that have huge MCU tie-ins tend to make the most money. With
Right.
with, with Shang-Chi even being a part of the MCU, like official MCU, that doesn't even make as much money because there's no major connections to Spider-Man or whoever there may be.
It's not a big name actor, too. You got Woody
No,
Harrelson and Tom Hardy attached to it. And that's no offense to
exactly.
Simu Liu. I love him, but
Right,
like,
right, yeah, and Aquafina and whatnot.
right.
But no, at the end of the day, this is like Tom Holland, Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson. Like you have
Michelle
made,
Williams.
yeah, Michelle
Yeah.
Williams. Like you got these major people in here, and yeah, they are gonna outperform people most likely. Um, than people like Simu Liu, Aquafina, and whatnot. Like it sucks for them because I feel so bad because when we did our preview for Venom, I said this movie was probably gonna make like $40 million.
I said 50, but it's going to make
It's
75, $80
it's gonna
dollars.
it's gonna crush. It's definitely by today. It's gonna crush my 40 million prediction.
It already has.
Yeah,
It surpassed it last night.
yeah. But I think honestly, this is huge. Like first of
Oh
all,
yeah.
it was a huge thing when we got Spider-Man in Civil War. It was huge. Of course, there was that whole controversy between Sony and Marvel of like I think it was like 2 weeks before Civil War came out. They were like, "Nope, we don't want him in the movie anymore. Sorry." And then they had to work out that huge money deal.
Yeah.
But no, it's like it's obvious that Sony and Marvel are on working terms with each other now.
Right. And it's very promising for things like Miles Morales may be coming to the MCU in the
So
future.
that's what I want to ask you. Do you think with this deal we could potentially see some non Spider Verse characters going into the Sony verses? Like a
Yeah.
potential. What if we see another version of Iron Man? Not Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark, but another Iron Man.
I don't think we'll see that. I think the deal is more so I don't think Sony wants to do anything with that. I think Sony just wants to have the Spider-Man characters in the MCU because they know it's a money grab. So, like, for example, I think we'll see Miles. I think we'll see maybe they get a Spider-Woman movie. They've been talking about that for a while. Um, like all those characters, Craven's getting a movie played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Morbius.
Well, not only that, we're most likely getting Craven in Spider-Man 2, the video game.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's another big thing that people need to also remember is that, you know, potentially that the Spider-Man video games, the Miles Morales and that could be considered MCU canon because of the multiverse.
Right.
I think people are underestimating this multiverse thing,
right,
to its fullest extent.
Daredevil, canon.
Yes,
like Luke Cage, canon.
Oh my goodness. Maybe not everything should be brought into the MCU now that I think about it.
Right. No, yeah, but I really think that Feige can just be like, yeah, I want that. Toss that out.
Well, I also think
he's like Iron Man, just picking things he wants, and yeah, that's how he's gonna be.
If you honestly think about it, you know, let me ask you this, and I want to know your genuine opinion. Do you think we could ever, we got it in the comics, but I'm in the camp who thinks this would never happen. No amount of money would let it happen. Do you think we could ever get a movie MCU and DC crossover?
They never say never.
They did it multiple times in the comics. We've seen Superman lift Mjolnir. We've seen Spider-Man.
Never say never.
Yeah, we've seen Spider-Man fight Nightwing. We've seen
never say never.
I know, it's so crazy.
But anyways, let's get back to the end credit scene. So my thoughts. Somebody had an interesting theory. So Venom talks about how he has 80 billion light years or 80 million, something like that.
He talks about like that amount of information would like fry Eddie's brain.
Right. And he says when he talks about Spider-Man, it's almost like he knows who it is.
Yeah.
I think maybe they could do this. That Venom and his species is a multiversal species.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point in Venom's life, he's bonded with Spider-Man. I don't think they're going to go that route.
Yeah.
But it's really weird that he says that guy. And it's so funny to me, like, literally the first time Venom sees Spider-Man, he literally, like, licks him. That's so funny to me.
What do you think, like, Eddie would think about all this?
So, it's going to be, like, weird, because Venom goes from a universe that has no superheroes to a universe that's literally run by superheroes. Yeah. So, how does he react to it? It's really...
Let me also ask you this. Let me give you a hypothetical here, a what-if hypothetical. Let's say this Venom was in the MCU when Thanos snapped. What would happen? Would just Venom go away? What if Eddie snapped or what if Eddie went away and Venom didn't?
Venom would have to find another body.
Which honestly, that is so scary to think about. That Eddie has been his only compatible host. Because we see everybody else die.
Yeah.
Well, except Miss Chen. She could be a potential host.
Right. So, my thing is so do you think that they face off with each other in a Spider-Man movie or in the third Venom? I'm going to say the third Venom.
It would feel weird because you're framing Spider-Man as the villain then.
I think that would actually be a lot cooler.
I think, honestly, they should just play it out in No Way Home.
That's not going to happen, though.
I don't know. We don't know. This movie is regarded with secrecy. Not very good secrecy, but secrecy.
Don't you think it would be weird, though, to have Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and Venom be in a movie with Toby, Andrew, like Goblin?
No.
I think it would be bizarre.
Because here's the thing, is you would have that tie-in with Toby Spider-Man with Venom. He knows how to take him down. Tom wouldn't. So that would be how you could, if you think about it, I think that little thing that attacks Peter when he's in like that basement thing, I think it's Venom. I'm convinced. Because here's my thing. So when I went to go see Shang-Chi, No Way Home got a or no. Yeah, No Way Home's trailer played at the theater. Um Eternals played, but weirdly enough, only Spider-Man No Way Home played at this one. No Eternals trailer was played, nothing else. So I think it's Venom. I know you're probably wincing like, no, it's Lizard. Let me ask you this. Why would we need Lizard?
Because it's a multiversal Sinister Six. It would not, well, then you could say it could be Venom then, but it's a multiversal Sinister Six that is from Toby and Andrew's universe.
But wouldn't it make more sense to have a third universe come into this?
No, because he just found out who Tom Holland's Spider-Man is. I think you wait on that.
No, I think here's the thing: is this is very feeling. I'm pretty sure this is the right comparison. I'm pretty sure this would work. This is feeling very much like the Arrow versus Elseworlds crossover.
I don't mean to cut you off here, Alex, but I know I know you're very convinced. I'm just gonna say, I I know he's not in the movie. At least I know he's not one of the Sinister Six. I know it. I know it for a fact, and I don't want you to go into the movie thinking he's in it.
I don't think I don't even think in the comics he's a part of the Sinister Six. So I wouldn't assume he's a part of that Sinister Six.
Okay.
What if we have the Sinister Six plus Venom? Who knows?
I don't think that would, no.
Who knows? Because here's my other thing, okay? I think something that, is a big,
I think he'll be in the after credit scene though.
But why tease him? Why tease the video that's going to be played in No Way Home and not have him in No Way Home? That's like, you know what that would be like? That would be like,
well, technically he would be in No Way Home if he's in the after credit scene.
I'm talking about like the main movie part.
I know.
That, you know what that would be like? You know that I'm trying to think. Oh my goodness. Okay. Trying to process everything right now. Put everything in my brain and squeeze it out. Okay, so it would be like if you had Thanos snap in a post-credit scene and then just like saved it for another movie down the line instead of the movie it teased. Why tease such a major thing and just be like, we'll wait on that? Why not put it in the next movie? Like the next huge movie related to Spider-Man.
Well, they do tease Thanos out for a long time in the MCU.
Yeah, but never him snapping. I'm not saying, like, they're taking a huge thing. This is a huge thing. Venom and Spider-Man are like brother and sister with how close they are in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it would make zero sense to tease it and to play on it later, like a huge play later.
I think they're trying to let it salivate. Just let it sit with us.
But I don't think it makes sense.
I think it does.
I don't think it
let
makes
it sit with us for a while. Let it sit with us. Let us theorize like we're doing now. I think that makes sense.
I think so. He has to be a part of No Way Home. You couldn't convince me that it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I understand it, but he's not.
I don't know. Because here's my thing, and I was talking to my dad about this. Unless you know some weird knowledge, as far as I'm aware, there's only 5 of the 6 confirmed Sinister Six members. Well, okay, I don't want to say confirmed because technically Sandman and Lizard are not guaranteed. We know Electro, Green Goblin, and Doc Ock are confirmed. But come on. Are you really trying to say that Sandstorm wasn't Sandman?
Right.
But like it's that thing. What attacked Peter? Could it have been the Venom symbiote? Who knows? Because okay, this is where I'm at right now with the Spider-Man No Home. Sorry to go off topic from Venom, Let There Be Carnage, but I need to be the only one who's not confused. Why are almost all of the villains coming from Tobey Maguire and not Andrew Garfield? Doc Ock, Green Goblin,
Sandman. What's that?
Sandman. That's 3 out of 6. Then what? You're gonna put potentially Lizard and definitely Electro
and Rhino.
Where did you see a Rhino tease at?
Well, he was a tease, but that's who the 6th member is. He shows up. I'm not gonna say that.
Sorry. What? I'm confused.
I know some stuff.
Why Rhino of all people? This lineup is starting to make no sense.
They wanted 3 from Toby and 3 from Andrews.
It's gonna be the Rhino from the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh man, this movie already dropped 5%.
He's not gonna have a major role, I don't think.
5% drop.
Okay, let's get back to Venom. Can you answer my question?
What? What was the question?
Will we see Venom fight Spider-Man? Oh, so you think he's gonna fight him in No Way Home?
If he's not in No Way Home, how to me it's such a hard question to answer because Venom is the technical protagonist of his movies, and so is Spider-Man. So well, no, hold on, no, never mind. I think we'll see it in potentially Spider-Man 4.
Okay, I think we see it in Venom 3.
It just, I was gonna say we've never seen two protagonists fight each other, but then we've literally had Batman vs Superman, Civil War.
Well, I think that they're gonna play it that Venom thinks that Spider-Man's the bad guy.
Maybe.
And then I think at the because I really don't see how like I think it'd be stupid to kill Venom, and I think it'd also be stupid to kill. You're not gonna kill Tom Holland with Venom.
You can't.
Right. So I think they're gonna have it where they team up. Like at the end of the movie, Venom's like, "Yeah, you're a good kid, man. I like you."
Yeah. They're gonna pull a Batman v Superman.
Yeah, and they're gonna team up and do something, but they can't fight Carnage. Obviously, I think they're gonna fight Matt Mulligan's character that becomes a symbiote. But then again, like, how many characters transfer from Eddie's universe? Is he the only one? Where is Ann? Where is Dan? Where is Matt Mulligan? Or whatever his name is, Mulligan.
The detective?
Yeah. Where are those guys? Like, I have a lot of questions about that. And when do you think that, or how do you think Venom was transported? Because I think it was the spell from Strange.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, I've already said it. I think that the Strange spell broke the multiverse. I think Wanda accessing it, like, opened it fully.
Do you think all these events happened simultaneously? Loki, Sylvie killing Kane, Wanda, and Strange.
Maybe. I feel like that'd be a long time for Wanda just reading the Darkhold, though.
Right.
I feel like at that point she would have read it like 30 times.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You got anything else to say about this?
About what, the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
I'm excited. And who was the guy in the hotel?
Yeah.
I know who he is. He's the true mastermind behind this.
Oh yeah, he's the true mastermind behind this all.
I did want to ask you, now that we have, well, first of all, our first official live action multiverse kind of thing, do you think we could start seeing this was something that TikTok made me wonder, and then I went on Instagram and someone else was asking the question. Do you think potentially we could start seeing Uatu the Watcher in the background? Not him interacting like he is in What If, just his silhouette in the background.
I think we're destined to see the Watcher. I think we're destined to see that.
What if we see him in Multiverse of Madness?
I think that would make sense.
Again, I don't need him to interact with anyone.
Not yet.
I think that should just stay in What If, but just his presence would literally blow my mind.
But have it such be like an obscure like thing that you just see like his eyes or just see the silhouette really far away in the background.
Or what if this? What if, I don't know, like working something at the end of No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness, and just like have a narration of him into the, like, when it's saying like who it's directed by, like the credits and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I would literally lose my mind.
I mean, I was like, I went to the movie and was somebody who's huge fans of Venom and Carnage. Like he literally has like comics in his room. Those were the comics he loved. And we looked at each other and we said, "Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe this. And I just it's so funny to me that he like licks the screen.
I
Um
know. I know.
but I'm really curious why he says that guy. Like it's almost like he knows him.
I know. It's like weird because this Venom didn't get his. It's not normal. It's not traditional Venom. We
Right.
know Venom gets his powers from attaching to Spider-Man first,
Hmm.
but we didn't get that this time.
Do you think he will Tom Holland as Venom? You think we'll see that?
I know you said he's probably not in No Way Home.
Right.
What if that black suit
Is
is
Venom.
the Venom suit?
I don't think it is.
I don't
Because it's
either.
because
But
it's black and gold, right? Isn't there some gold on it?
yeah, but there's literally a black and red Spider-Man suit. His colors are
Right.
black, red, and white. Who gives a shit?
What if we don't know it's Venom though? What if like it's just played off like it's a black suit, but we don't know it's Venom?
Right. Well, wait. Never mind. Never mind. No. There's an official name for it. Never mind.
Okay, yeah.
As
That
in,
would
it's not the integrated suit. So it's his sorcerer. It's his sorcerer suit.
right.
Could you could you imagine if this Venom attached to Spider-Man got the powers of Peter and his sorcery abilities? Oh my goodness, this would be Venom on literal crack.
Yeah. All
This,
right.
oh, I could go on and
I
on and on.
we spoke for 32 minutes about a minute
About
scene. Okay. Okay. So
But
it's
trust
time to transition to the actual movie. So I'm gonna give my overall thoughts here first, and I'm gonna say this: the first Venom movie, I like. I give like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. It's not god awful, but it's not great. I like Eddie and Venom, but the rest of the characters I don't care about. This movie for me was like an 8. It was a big step up for me. Alex knows I'm a sucker for a good villain. I will say that Carnage, while he had some of his moments, Cletus Cassidy was by far way more interesting. Woody Harrelson kills it as the serial killer in this movie.
yeah.
I enjoy Anne a lot more in this movie. Like I really thought for a while that she was gonna be. It's just she got married. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she was there. She did stuff. She was essential piece to the plot.
Yeah.
I think the hour and a half runtime benefited this movie. And
It
I
did
love
not
how this.
it did
I
not
love
feel
how
like an
the.
hour and a half.
I love how this movie plays into the goofiness of Venom. Like it fits it perfectly,
The the comedy was just peak in this movie.
while also having a lovely relationship between Venom and Eddie. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. I thoroughly like. What are your overall thoughts
Yeah,
on it,
it's a
Alex?
very
We did touch on it.
I as someone who loved the first movie, I love this more. I think ultimately at the end of the day, this movie accomplished what it needed to. And it did it in such a way that I would want a Venom 3 like tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like I want more. Tom Hardy's just so good as Eddie Brock in Venom that you can't convince me that there's someone who could play him better. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You know, there are tons of people who say Robert Downey Jr. He's the only person who could play Tony Stark. Do you think this is the case? No one else could play Venom
I think
other
there's
than
a
Tom
couple.
Hardy.
I think there's a couple of characters. Hugh Jackman's the only one that can play Wolverine.
Yeah, oh yeah. Steve Chris Evans or
Chris,
not.
that one, I'm
Oh,
not convinced.
who else could play Captain America? Name one.
Mackie.
Okay, as Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I think so. Probably.
Like
Loki. Tom Hiddleston is Loki.
Anthony Mackie as Sam.
But the main three for me are RDJ is because when you hear the name Iron Man, I think of Robert Downey Jr. Wolverine. I think of Hugh Jackman. That's the first thing that comes to mind. When I think of Venom now, I think of Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I think of Tom. He's come so synonymous with that role that anytime I hear Tom Hardy's name, I think Venom, and anytime I hear Venom's name, I think Tom Hardy. Like, and that's what I love, and I think he
Mhm.
loves that role. He seems like he really enjoys it,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see him in the MCU. I really can't.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but the director played Snoke
Andy
and
Serkis.
Ulysses Claw, bro. Andy Serkis doing all of it.
Yeah. So yeah, what were your give some more of your overall thoughts? Like what else? What else you think?
You know, going off of the first movie, I was actually really confused. Like I knew how they were gonna set up Carnage, of him biting Eddie and whatnot. Like how else are you gonna get him to draw blood and whatnot?
Right.
So I kind of predicted that. I also didn't like, by the way, that they released the jail breakout scene a day before. I didn't see it, thankfully, but weird marketing strategy. But
Right.
you do you. Um, yeah, I really also loved Carnage, as weird as it was. I love that. I'm gonna call it a Black Canary ripoff. I like how she started screaming, and and Cassie was like, "Stop! Like stop!" Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed this movie. I put it currently at like number 10 in my MCU ranking. I just loved it so much. There was not a moment in this movie where I was not entertained, or where I was not entertained.
I will say I'm gonna get into some of my negatives here. I didn't like the repeated plot point of Venom leaving Eddie. I think we did that in the first movie.
I didn't mind it.
I understood it, but I didn't mind it. But like when he goes to the party and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is a little.
I loved it.
This is I. It was funny, but I love how they're sitting Venom and he's just walking to the stage, and it's like one of the weirdest shots in the movie. It's just like Venom. And he's just like walking to the stage. He takes it the mic, and I'm like,
Mm,
okay, this is a little weird, but we'll go with it. And
yeah,
I honestly think my favorite parts of this movie were whenever Cletus Cassidy was on screen and
yeah,
Francis.
yeah.
Um, like they were great. Like that opening scene is terrifying, and
Which
then they do
I found out something weird about it. So you know the kid at the beginning who plays young Cletus Cassidy? It's not even his voice. It's Woody Harrelson voiceovering,
yeah, it
talking,
is
which is so weird. I don't know why they didn't just use the kid's voice.
right, yeah, and then they go through like his montage of like, yeah, I pushed Granny down the stairs, and I'm like, oh my god, this
A,
is
a blow dryer in mom's mom's bath,
it's
like
so
crazy, crazy.
he's have like, and I love there's also another funny moment like, um, Eddie's trying to write on the computer, and Venom's just writing dick,
Yeah,
dick.
dick. Yeah,
It's so, and
and,
then
and oh,
Venom's
no,
the
you
whole
go.
reason like gets in trouble, and it's just like, oh my god, it's
Yeah,
so corny, but it just fits. And I know some people were complaining about that, but I don't need every
right.
superhero movie to have that really heart.
Yeah,
That's this movie is not
yeah,
meant is not Shang-Chi, it's not
yeah,
Infinity War, it's Venom. It's supposed
yeah.
to be stupid and weird.
I also like I said this before. One of my top comedic scenes in superhero movies is when Eddie goes to shake Venom's hand or Dan's hands, and Venom slaps Dan, and Dan's like, "Those two need to get some serious couple counseling."
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, he's like, "Dad, I love you too." And then
Yeah,
he says, and then he says like something like, "Oh, he hurt us more than he helped us."
yeah. He was like, although he wasn't very helpful, he was actually more of a he actually did more, or he didn't help it that much.
Yeah,
Honestly, kind of a commentary of Dan's character in the first and the second movie.
right. He's just there. He's just there. He's just
Never,
us. He's
yeah,
just us.
yeah, it's amazing. But I
Eh,
also, I will say, it was one of my favorite things in the trailer. The oh shit, that's a red one. Also, just that entire scene building up to the fight of Carnage versus Venom of like time to die, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get him." He's like, "No, we're gonna die." It's like I loved it. I loved it.
And then Carnage and Cletus and Francis are getting married, and I'm like, "What is happening right now?" I love this, but it's like,
Yeah,
"What is happening?"
with all the dead corpses as the audience.
Yeah.
It is so weird. I loved it so much.
No, and then he's like, I'm like half the time I'm like, what is he saying right now? It's so medicine, but like
Yeah.
And we finally learned a little bit more about like I'm not a big comic guy. I didn't know like Venom had like that had like telekinesis or not telekinesis, but like
Photographic memory.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I didn't
didn't
know
either.
that,
I didn't either. To be fair,
which was impressive. I'm
it was
not gonna
fair.
lie there.
Yeah, I also, I also like that whole scene of him drawing.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you see? Oh, I know this one. It's a tree. He's like, no.
No.
Yeah, I loved it. Although I understand your complaint of the whole redundancy of the whole Venom and Eddie not getting along, I honestly think a lot of people need to remember like the events of the first movie like just happened not too long ago.
Right.
So these two have not been, one and the same forever. So, and it's also like if people remember the way they ended the first movie before the post-credit scene, Venom is literally yelling at Eddie to apologize for calling him a parasite. So it's like, trust me, they're gonna be a little, mad at each other for a long, long time.
And I love the fight in the apartment. I will say that is absolutely hilarious.
Yes. I like how how Venom after that fight takes control of someone and just starts fucking up Eddie's bike.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the
And then
TV and the TV.
yeah, flips
He's
him
like,
off too as he's
yeah,
going by.
yeah. Again, this movie was just so much fun. If someone dares say this movie was bad, I honestly just think you're not fun at parties at that point because
No,
this
I've seen
movie
a lot
was
of
so
people
fun.
like I've seen a lot of film critics say that it was a mess of a plot, and I'm like, I think you just like with these type of characters, you kind of have to accept
Yeah, it's
that it's
not gonna.
stupid,
The whole "you're not that guy" meme. It's not that movie. It's not that
right?
kind of movie.
It's
And,
not the
and
overcomplicated, beautiful storytelling that Infinity War and Endgame are. It's not a conclusion to a cinematic universe. It's about an alien who bonds with a human and
yeah,
has a lot of dad jokes
a
and
lot of really
stupid
bad ones too.
and stupid humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I just like again, it's funny when Venom swears. Again, just when he in the first movie when he calls Eddie a pussy because he won't jump out the building, or again, my my favorite thing again, my favorite thing from the trailer and one of my favorite things from the movie is the oh shit, that is a red one.
And I think I don't know if I talked about it here or before we went on live. I said I think my new favorite scene with him is when he's talking Eddie and Venom. It's half and
Yeah,
half. And he's talking to Cletus. Cletus is like, I just wanted a friend. And then Eddie
yeah,
goes away and it's Venom. He's like, fuck this guy. It just bites his face off.
yeah.
It's so good.
It
It's so good.
he was trying so hard to be sentimental with him, and Venom was like, "Fuck this guy."
Just bites his head off.
Yeah,
So good. And I kind of now want to transition into Carnage and Cletus casting. We've touched on how we really enjoyed him. That Prison Break was terrifying. That was
it
really
was.
good.
I was like, "Holy smoke! What is happening?"
Yeah, it was really good. Like eh, from the transformation until like it's all black, it's all cloudy and black, and then you see him
Yeah.
like come out. And Carnage like reminds me a lot of like Groot. Just the dude has so many arms.
Yes.
Like it was insane. And I love when he gets to like the executioner or whatever, and he's like, "What are your final words?" And then he just bites his face off.
Yeah.
And by the way, I still don't know how this movie gets away. They get away with a lot with PG-13. I didn't realize that because we literally see the dude's tongue goes down somebody's throat, and I'm like, this is disgusting. Um,
Mm.
a lot of,
So.
and then I love how he kills the prisoners too. They all clap for him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he just gets he literally creates a tornado. I'm like, I didn't know he could do this,
Right. Yeah.
and it
And
was so good. And then he gets out, and he starts dancing. He
yeah.
steals somebody's car. Just like what? It's
And
so funny.
and some rich guy's suit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. I loved Cletus casting. I wasn't a huge fan. I wish there was more. I wish Carnage talked a little bit more. Like basically, Carnage's whole thing was like he didn't like the girlfriend, but Cletus did. because
Mhm.
her thing was sound, and I knew right from the beginning of the movie that like, oh,
Yeah,
she's a
and
sound freak. So
again,
that's not good.
I call her Black Canary ripoff.
I like her character. I like her character a lot. I really do.
I'm trying to remember her name. It's FB Francis.
Francis.
Oh,
I'm looking at that.
Francis. Oh, hold on. Venom.
Francis Barrison.
Yes, Barrison.
Shriek.
Okay.
Shriek. Her real
Yeah.
name. Her comic name is Shriek. That's right. Uh, yeah. She was terrifying. She's dead. So,
Yeah.
um,
I just like this is such just a fun movie. Honestly, I don't know how
yeah,
much.
and I really love how like the movie does such a good job of bouncing back and forth between the two. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of Cletus Cassidy, and I really enjoy his backstory and like um that twisted weird relationship is so like good.
Yeah. I also think like it's a really big thing to know. Like, um, yeah, if you think about it, he sought out Eddie Brock because they were basically like the same kind of guy. You
Right.
know, family problems when they were younger and whatnot. And I honestly, I know I compare to the Arrowverse so much. I'm sorry, the comparison just came to my mind with Zoom and the Flash. Even one of the things that he says, he's like, "Yo, you and I are basically the same. It's just
Right.
we were in a way different from each other."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's real interesting. That little comparison is like Cletus tries to basically plead with him, like, "Hey, we have the same problems when we were younger." But no, Venom found the good solution to that problem.
Right.
Fuck that
And
guy.
yeah, and I love I love when Carnage breaks out Francis and she's talking to that lady, and then all of a sudden you just see him inside. He's like, "Hi," and then like you just see her get strangled to death off screen while
Yeah,
everything's
look.
happening.
So Drew, I'm into 3D printing and whatnot, and I found these files, and I'm telling you, when I get free time after I make the Mark 85 and whatnot, I'm gonna make it. Someone made a Venom shoulder piece, so you can have Venom on your side, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna make it. I'm going to make it. I cannot wait.
Now I want to ask you, Alex, what did you think? Because I think there was a couple of wonky shots. I'm not gonna lie. What did you think of the CGI in this movie? I didn't think it was awful, but I think there were some wonky shots, especially on the beach. I thought was a little like
The
weird.
beach looked pretty fake. It did.
Yeah,
It looked like it looked like it was on a green screen.
yeah, it did. It
It
looked
looked
really wonky.
it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It
wasn't terrible, so
no,
I don't
no,
know.
no. But let's go. So we did some questions,
Oh,
and so let's see. Let's go through them. Let's go through some of them that were more valuable than others. What will the movie make at the box office? It seems like it might make more than Shang-Chi did opening weekend. That's
yeah,
pretty exciting.
and look at that. I'm excited for it.
Uh, will this movie be better than the first one?
By miles upon better.
I definitely think so. As somebody who didn't like the first Venom fully, I love this movie, and you
As some,
like the first Venom, and you
yeah, I
like
would
this even
say
more.
as somebody who loved the first Venom movie, I love this even more.
What do you what do you give it for a rating?
Probably a 9 out of 10.
Really? Yeah, you.
Yeah, probably just
Yeah,
some wonky CGI, and Dan was kind of there again.
right.
Didn't serve its purpose. So for those reasons, 9 out of 10. Soundtrack
Oh,
was amazing.
yes. Um, will the hour and a half time runtime hurt or help the movie? I think it helped it. I think it
Oh
worked.
yeah, I think I said at first that it was gonna hurt it, but it helped it.
Some people have said it felt like it was rushed. I didn't feel that. I feel like we glossed over some things, but I didn't need to see like um Cletus or Francis go into the cathedral to get married. That was
Right?
quick,
Yeah.
but I didn't need to say.
Oh boy, you sound very robotic right now.
Oh, I did. Do I still sound robotic?
Yes, you sound very robotic. You're actually frozen right now.
Oh, am I still
Oh,
frozen?
there you go. You're better, but you're just
Okay.
very low quality.
Okay. Yeah, it's telling me my Wi-Fi is not great. But anyways, we saw She Venom. You didn't know who that was.
Nope, no, I didn't.
No, and now you do. Now you understand it.
Hmm.
Which that was also hilarious. Like Anne's just like tells Eddie all the time not to lie, and like she just blatantly lies. Like Venom's like, so sorry. And then
Yeah,
she's just like, yeah, that was
that whole scene, I forgot about it. Was just so good.
right.
I like how like when like when after Eddie apologizes, he goes, fine.
And then he's like, do we kiss?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah. All right, he's like, kiss her.
Um, will Carnage win at any point in this movie?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Which I found really disappointing because Riot won in the first movie.
Right. Will there be any other symbiotes besides Venom and Carnage? Can we say yes with
Yeah.
Detective Mulligan?
I forgot who he becomes.
Um, I could spell detective right. Yeah, who does he become?
I think it starts with an S.
What the hell? Toxin?
Yes. Oh yeah, it is Toxin. Sorry, it doesn't start with this S. I was thinking about someone else. Sorry.
But he had blue eyes. So is he gonna be blue?
Yeah. Bro, do you really think they care about what symbiotes look like? Venom doesn't have
No.
the Spider-Man logo on him, so
Right. Which I think looks better, but
yeah.
um
Oh well.
will Carnage die? I was wrong about that. I wish they didn't kill him.
No, they didn't just kill him; they ate him.
Right. Now what would be cool is if Venom got some of Carnage's powers.
I know. I thought they were gonna go with the route that when like he was gonna try to trigger the bell, that Eddie was gonna bite Eddie so he could get Carnage's powers.
That would have been interesting.
But nope, we didn't get that. So
Okay, the end credit scene we said
blew our minds.
I said something with Spider-Man. We both said something along the lines of Spider-Man, so we were right. Um will we get a Venom 3? We don't know yet, but
I hope
definitely after the
so.
success of the box office. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope
Plus
I hope Andy Serkis comes back to direct.
I do too. Will this movie set up Venom coming into the MCU? It
Yeah,
absolutely did. It
absolutely
absolutely
did.
did. Will we get a reference to Morbius? Alex still doesn't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who Morbius is.
We did
And
get a Morbius reference.
and I'm not looking it up either. So find out eventually.
When it comes up.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. Who is Morbius?
Will we get a Spider-Man reference?
Morbius is a biochemist turned bloodsucker. Morbius is a Morbius is the vampire. Oh.
You don't remember? This is the trailer with Michael Keaton in it as Vulture.
What?
You don't.
What are you talking about?
You haven't seen the trailer to Morbius then?
No.
You're gonna have to watch it later.
Nope, I'm watching it right now.
Okay. Well, okay. Anyways, that's it. That's all we got for our predictions. So we did pretty well. We'll do one obviously for the Eternals when that comes out. We're 4 weeks away, right? A month?
A month. Comes out November 6th.
Marketing will start here soon for Eternals.
November 5th.
Yeah.
It comes out on a Friday.
The marketing will start soon for that. Obviously, the Marvel Studios likes to market things for 4 weeks. And literally it lives on my TV, which by the way, I will say Sony did a good job marketing this film, especially in the last week. I will say it is bizarre that they showed the prison break, but
yeah,
I don't know. And I'm really happy with how this movie is doing in the box office. I didn't think it was going to make anywhere close to Shang-Chi. And the fact that it might break Shang-Chi is great. We're going to have to see what the numbers look like today.
Yeah.
But I'm very pleased. I'd like to hear your thoughts on. Do you think Spider-Man could make $1 billion now? Do you think No Way Home has a chance to make 1 billion?
No, I don't. Did Shang-Chi even break 100 million?
Yeah, yeah. It broke. It's gonna break 200 mil this week.
Yeah. We'll see how Eternals does, and I'll give my judgment then.
I just.
Honestly, before we wrap this up, I don't think Eternals is gonna do good.
Why do you say that?
Do you really think we're gonna get 3 or 4 superhero movies back to back, or 4 Marvel superhero movies back to back to back to back do good in the box office?
Yes.
Nope.
Do you think? Well, I will say I think there's gonna be a superhero fatigue. Do you think people are gonna start feeling that, and it's gonna be Eternals that suffers?
Yep.
You think so?
I
I was thinking that it might be not Eternals, but Morbius.
you know what I honestly think it's gonna be?
What? Doctor Strange?
Nope. I I think it could honestly be around the time that the Marvels come out. That's
Yeah,
when that's when that fatigue is gonna fully hit.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's especially gonna be really bad timing because most likely around the time that that's coming out, we would have just had Andor, potentially
Kenobi.
Kenobi,
Right.
and Mando season 3
Oh
around the
my
corner.
god, dude, I can't even like all the stuff we're getting next year. It's crazy, and I think people are gonna get overwhelmed. It's not at that point yet. If we have
Um,
like, I've really enjoyed having one Marvel movie a month, whether it's from Sony or
yeah,
uh, it just having that one TV show to focus on. In
yeah.
December, like we were talking about, we literally have like 3 massive things to focus on in like a
Book of
week.
Boba Fett, Hawkeye, and Spider-Man: No Way Home, bitches.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like it's gonna be overwhelming for the average person.
Yeah, and especially us, the diehards.
Right. It's like, what do I watch first? I think I'm gonna watch Boba Fett first before Hawkeye.
I think I'm gonna
But
watch Hawkeye first.
but then again, it is the season finale of Hawkeye. But then again, it's Boba Fett. So like, what do I
Hmm.
do?
Well,
But
no,
yeah,
no, wait, back up. When does Hawkeye end?
the 29th of December.
Oh yeah, damn, yeah, and that's the season or series premiere of the Book of Boba Fett.
They're gonna probably do that with Marvel and Star Wars stuff.
I
Like
don't
when
think
Boba Fett ends, they'll
I
have
don't
Miss Marvel.
I don't think they should. I don't think they should do that. I think
You
they
think
should.
they release them on different days? I think.
I think they should have kept Star Wars on Fridays.
Yeah, yeah, do that,
It's going to be too
or
overwhelming.
have one on Friday and have one on Saturday.
Mm. Matter of fact, have one on Monday, have one on Friday.
Yeah,
You get to
but
start. You get to start the week with potentially Star Wars.
but whoever gets Monday is gonna be pissed because they have to wait the whole week until they get the weekend audience.
I think honestly, a perfect week would be Monday. This is if I were to play it out. If I was Sony and Marvel and all that, Monday would be the Hawkeye season. Or is it a mini series or is it going to be a potential multi-season show?
We don't know yet. I'm not sure.
For now, we'll call it series finale. Put the series finale of Hawkeye on Monday, Book of Boba Fett on Wednesday, Spider-Man: No Way Home on Friday.
Well, no. No
Oh
Way
wait, no, no,
Home
no,
is.
no. Sorry, I know.
I know what you're thinking. I know you were thinking. But anyways,
It's gonna be too much. It's gonna be
yeah,
too
it is.
much,
And then
especially,
next year's even worse.
especially
Like
yeah, because we could be potentially getting Andor and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in the same week.
plus Batman that same month. I know we're not gonna cover it, but it's Batman.
Still, I'm probably gonna go watch it.
Yeah, and whatever Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, She Hulk. I mean, that's
Mhm.
insane.
They're setting. Sorry, but Disney's kind of setting themselves up for failure right now.
And I don't think Star Wars is gonna suffer. I think Star Wars is gonna have its best year ever.
I think Star Wars is gonna beat Marvel next year on Disney Plus.
Oh, easily. I think their stuff is far more intriguing. I'm intrigued for She Hulk, but and
Mhm.
like Moon Knight especially with Oscar Isaac. But
Yeah,
I mean, the movies I'm excited for: Doctor Strange 2, Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm really
Mhm.
excited for Black Panther.
My,
The
you know,
Marvels, like the
you
Marvels, I
know,
could care less for, but I
you
just
know. I saw my favorite meme. So you know Loki's old dagger talk in episode like 4.
right.
The movie should be renamed Thor: Dagger and Thunder. Honestly, dude, like I am just so excited for Thor: Love and Thunder right now. I would do anything to go see that movie right now.
Well, it seems like we've exhausted our talk on Venom and we've moved into to other things.
Thor.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up for our review on Venom. Let There Be Carnage. We'll be back Wednesday to talk about the finale of What If. And we'll talk about some other news. We'll probably talk a little bit about Venom's box office. We'll talk about some other news thingies. But yeah, Alex, you got anything else to say before we wrap it up?
Go see Venom: Let There Be Carnage if
Yeah,
you want a good time.
go buy your tickets right now and go see.
Oh, I'm gonna once this thing comes out on Blu-ray, I'm gonna buy it.
Right. Well, maybe it's on Disney Plus here soon. Who knows?
2022 bitches can't come
Yeah.
soon enough.
Um, we'll see you all on Wednesday. Peace out.